What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Every Week We Follow. So today we don't really have an agenda. It's just a rant. Gary's been constantly texting me over the past week, just moaning about things. So I just thought I'd let him go a little bit, let the leash off, and let him go.
Before we release the hounds, mate, I'm just remember the ball, right? Just want to remind everyone to tune in on Monday for our Acorn special, where we will be giving details of how you can win this bad boy, signed by the first team. It is actually a thing of beauty. They've really produced this for us, and I'm very, very happy. So yeah, stay tuned for Monday, where you'll be able to, we'll be able to raise a little bit of money for Acorns, and you can win this beautiful ball.
Yeah. And as always, like, subscribe, leave your comments down below. Are you getting frustrated with this transfer window so far? Is it just like the calm before the storm? Is stuff going to start moving? What do you think about? We'll talk about some of these topics, but what do you think about these topics as well? Also, these are going on Spotify via audio as well. So if you do just prefer to listen and not look at our beautiful faces,
and listen to our soothing voices instead, mate.
Yeah, just listen to our sultry tones.
You are now listening to Every Week We Follow on
Every
Spotify.
Week We Follow. Let's talk. Gary, how are you feeling today?
Mate, I'm fuming. Like, I can't. Like, I'm so angry. Like, the frustration is blowing my head. Like, you showed a thumbnail that you've been working on some photos of me, mate. Like, that's exactly how I feel on the inside. Like, I haven't wanted to, but as this week has gone on, like, every day there's been something that has just made it worse. Like, to the point where I'm going, what is going on, right? And we get little. It's a bit like life, where we're being filled snippets of little nice things. Oh, look, there's some new Samba. Oh, look, there's some new kit. And I'm watching on like all the other Villa channels, and they're reviewing the kit and all that. I'm not interested in that yet. You'll get my reviews on that. I'm not buying it or trying to make it out until right. I know what's going on with my club. Like, what's going on for next season. Like, how are we going to challenge, right? When we've got the likes of Man City stealing our talent, that young Norwegian lad thing, mate, the Nipan thing, Nipan, right? It's a joke. It's an absolute joke. And I said to you, like, the thing that's on yesterday on Sky Sports was Villa don't even, as far as I'm aware, right? And you can correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, right? For that particular thing, we are the ones that have only been interested in. Yet Sky Sports report it as other Premier League interest, but he's now chosen Man City, right? Now, it's either here or there. Maybe he's a superstar, maybe he's not. But it's little things like that. And I think you just mentioned to me off air that, it's kind of, we are restricted again because of PSR in the business that we can do before June the 30th. So if we've had to wait out and not make a deal for this guy because of that, and then Man City have just swooped in and just taken him from under our feet, it's a joke, mate.
I mean, that's what I read. Apparently, we'd asked him to wait. We just said, look, everything's sorted. We'd spoken to his family, come see in the training ground. He'd done everything. Spoke to Monchi, spoke to Emery, all this. And we were basically like, cool, we want you. It's all done. You just need you to wait till July because we don't want to be in this financial year. Surely there's a way you can do a deal and be like, right, it's done. It's contractually done.
Yeah, pre-contract deal.
It doesn't. The contract's back.
It feels like Jerry Maguire. Have you seen Jerry Maguire? When Jerry Maguire goes to Cushy's house,
I suppose if you think about it, though, actually, it's like if you sign a contract, right? Say if it's like I don't know why he would have been on maybe like 50, 40 grand a week or something. I suppose it's 4 weeks of that, or like 3 weeks of that 40 grand a week that he wouldn't have had. And like like I said, I think it's probably just the case that we were like, could you wait? No one else was in for him. City were like, we'll have him. And then City just go, yeah, cool. The offer's on the table now. Take it or leave it. And we've just been blindsided. And
it's just a joke, mate. And
I mean, they surely like all this stuff with the charges, right? And I know people are saying, oh, Villa spend a lot of money too. But like, yes, Villa spend a lot of money, but we're having to sell players left, right, and centre just to try and balance the books and keep within these stupid rules. And then with City, they've been allowed to abuse it for years. And now they're at a point where it doesn't really matter because they're such a massive commercial entity. And then now they've got these charges sitting over their heads where they might get a slap on the wrist. They might get some kind of. Surely the minimum they'll get is like a transfer embargo. Like they won't be able to buy, but they'll have done all their business. That's maybe why they're doing it all early
Mate,
now. They're like, get
even
it
if
done.
you gave them a 20-point deduction at this point, they've got a squad that could still probably win the league minus 20
Yeah.
points. Like it's beyond a joke. Like I don't understand, right? If that's the case, why all teams just aren't doing it? Going, fuck it, we'll all break 115 charges, 200
Yeah.
charges, and we'll tie you up in paperwork for 10 years. And by the time they come and sit, like, it won't make a difference. We'll
No,
have had the
because
success.
because the decision will be made within days.
It's
They'll just go. They'll just go. Oh, like what was it? It's that great thing from Paddy Power, wasn't it? And it was like it was the Premier League. Oh, season's done and dusted. Brilliant, great. And then like, oh, Man City charges. La 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 la. And then they go, oh, we need to look into la 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 la. And then it goes, and then it's like, Everton new
have got a new
stadium.
stadium.
This needs to be looked into. We need good work. We need to get straight on this. So good. But it's literally true. And this is the thing. It's not hidden. It's not unknown. But they're just allowed to do it.
This is like real life. This is like politicians getting up in front of you, feeding you bullshit and doing the exact opposite. Do you know what I mean? It just that's how it feels. It almost feels corrupt. I'm not saying it is, but like and obviously we don't know the ins and outs of it. But you can't tell me sitting on from a media level when you're looking at the day-to-day news of what's reported on football, how the likes of Man United, for instance, right, their club's in disarray really, but because of their global pull, like they released their kit last week and apparently it sold the most shirts in the first day across the world. Do you know what I mean in terms of shirt sales? That global sale, and now they're all of a sudden putting in bids for that guy from Eintracht Frankfurt. I don't even pronounce his name. I don't even want to begin.
Well, they've also managed to buy obviously Cunha and stuff.
Cunha as well, right? Yeah. And we are. I go through Sky Sports every day looking at like transfer news, and nothing from the Villa, nothing, like not even a description say, we've got to wait till June the 30th, or just this this is our life, mate. This is our life.
Basically it. Season starts. Get Europe. PSR trouble. Sell one of our best players. Season starts. Get Europe. PSR trouble. Sell one of our best players. It is, and obviously there is a point, right? And we know that consistent Europe for like, but it needs to be like 4 or 5 seasons which have any kind of effect. And realistically, it probably needs to be Champions League because for the level of play and the level we want to be competing at, that's what you need. And like I said to you, I was saying before that like, you got teams like Man U, even Spurs with their new stadium because it's massive revenue driver. And then like Man United and all those teams, the commercial revenue they get is just insane, and it has absolutely nothing to do with how they perform on the pitch. They could sell like Man U could get relegated, and they would still sell more shirts than everyone else. Because they're just such a massive commercial entity, and it's like here. So I sent you this the other day. It was on Reddit, and it's around like us and who's around us in terms of revenues, like on a yearly basis. And it's like, okay, cool. We're like third off the bottom. Okay, we'll just be on West Ham, Juventus, Newcastle. Wow, But look at that commercial revenue.
Yeah, it's tiny, isn't it?
37 million. The only reason it was 185 was because of Champions League. So the Champions League revenue, like broadcasting revenue, something like it's like 40 or 50 million more than the Europa, and that's why Man U had like I remember looking at their books and they had like a big loss on commercial on broadcasting rights, but they were still year on year up on the last quarter. So it's just silly. But look here, it's like we're almost a third of Marseille commercial revenues. We're nowhere near Juve or Milan, Borussia Dortmund, and obviously on here it doesn't have teams like Man U and stuff. Like I dread to think, what they're it's just ridiculous.
It is ridiculous, mate. Because how do you change it? And like you say, unless you get regular Champions League football. And the problem with that cycle is that to get Champions League football, you've got to get the best players, which means your wage bill automatically goes up, right? And that's where we sit in the problem, isn't it? The problem is our wage bill, by all accounts.
Well, you need to take risks, don't you? You need to take calculated risks and try and find hidden gems who are going to increase in value, do the job that you need them to do for about a third of the price.
Yeah.
And then the problem is that also those players, then, if you don't hit those top competitions in the summer, they're probably going to be linked with going again. Yeah. So then you've got to do it again. You've got to try and find that talent again.
Circle. And I think this is my anger, mate, because now we go into the new season with, potentially a depleted squad, having to rely on last year's players to step up to the plate and get us to the next level again. I'm not saying that's not doable, because we've got a fantastic manager and an incredible owners, but that's even more of a risk because all the teams around us are buying and improving. So it's going to be even harder to get into that top 5, top 4. Do you know what I mean? So
it's also going to get more and more frustrating and tiring for the players, for the staff. You're going to get more frustrated, aren't you? Like, it'll get to a point where surely they're going to be like, right, well, enough's enough. Like, we can only, tread water for so long. We can't anymore.
Like I say, I think the anger comes from it. It seems solidly fixed in this. We've had 3 years of it, and this will be similar to Newcastle as well, where you're a club that's on the up, that's got the money to spend but can't, and therefore get frustrated whilst watching that big six, right? The big Sky Six, just do whatever the fuck they want, or literally do whatever they want and get away with it. Like, it's just, whether it's Chelsea selling the women's team back to themselves, whether it's Man City just dodging charges and again just buying players before anything comes of it, whether it's Man United and just having that global pull and even despite what they do on the pitch, like you say, they could get relegated and they still manage to spend whatever they want. Spurs with the stadium, it's all based around those teams, and Arsenal just kind of, I know probably Arsenal are the least ones and haven't spent as much money or whatever, and they're probably trying to do it right, but they still have, it just feels like they don't have the same hurdles that we have to kind of keep continuing to try and, because we're not based in that top 6, or in that top, and I don't mean in the league, I'm on about in terms of the Sky.
The big six.
It's Sky, mate. Like, they're just ruined football, and they continue to ruin it. This thing about the thing that angered me this week, which is slightly not off topic, but the fact that they're saying that Premier League viewing figures were down 13% or something, and 17%.
Everyone's using dodgy fire sticks because they can't.
Because you're charging £110 a month to watch football. Like, it's just like ridiculous.
People can't do it.
You're crippling people. Like you ain't rocket science. Like, I haven't missed a single game in the Premier League, mate.
Yeah. It's a single game of the Premier League, and I've spent about £4 a month.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's it's just it's all broken. We know that, but we will continue to watch it. We will continue to go each week because we want to support our club, and we want. Well, and like I've actually said it before, that like it must be quite boring being like a City fan, or like, I mean, it's actually an interesting time for being a Man U fan, because you're like, oh, okay, we've been shit for about a decade. Let's see if we can like do something now. We're buying some players. We've got a new manager. Oh, it's stuff happening. But yeah, it must be quite boring being a City fan, because it's just like you expect constant
success.
Constant success. So the only way is down. So you're either like just continually hitting that, and you're hated by the rest of the country, or you start to drop off. And that's why everyone loved it this season. Everyone's like, City aren't getting, like, they're nowhere near it, but they still managed to get top 4. They just go and spend, was it 100 million when they spent in January and sort it all out? Yeah,
just like I say, they do what they want, and that's, you've got already a squad that's capable of finishing in that. 2 squads that are capable of finishing the top 4 anyway. And yes, they've dipped off, but when it matters, they've got not only the experience, but they've got the players to do it, and therefore, and every team has that drop off.
The thing that's frustrating me most at the moment is, now I know why. I think the reason we're not hearing anything about anyone coming in is because there's a lot going on, right? There's the Club World Cup, that's all happening as well. That pile of crap that's going on, going on, just massive money making scheme. Then you've got some players have gone on holiday, so they're waiting for them to come back. And then we've got obviously this PSR thing, we're like the 30th of June, those kind of things. So we can't actually really buy any players anyway till the 1st of July. So you're probably not going to hear a lot unless it is something like a youngster who's like being kind of pre-contracted or an agreement put in place to bring him in. But
well, like many clubs, mate.
The thing that's driving me mad is you've got none of that. It's just constant speculation about people leaving.
Yeah,
it's just like Emi Martinez going to Galatasaray, no chance. There's the Tielemans stuff that won't go away because of what he said. There's Kamara, he's got an offer on the table since April and still hasn't taken it up. You've got Jacob Ramsey, like all these all these players. Bailey leaving, which I give two shits about, but it's kind of just like, right, okay, so we've got all this stuff happening. If these guys leave, what are we doing? Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, who's going? Exactly.
Like, you can't plan. How are we meant to plan? How are we meant to have a pre-season? Pre-season kicks off in a month.
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing?
It feels like a lot to sort out with very little communication from the clubs, because it's all speculation. Those things, by the way, nothing's been. Like, nothing's been.
I don't expect them to sit there and go to some private WhatsApp group with the fans and go, "Oh, so this is happening."
No.
It's just frustrating because, like you said, you're hearing stuff from other clubs. There's all stuff going on. You now got like Thomas Frank going into Spurs as well, which, by the way, I think that's a bad move on his part. It's the worst place to go. There or Man U. Them two places are just toxic, poison chalices.
Yeah,
do not go there. Like, Spurs have had some incredible managers.
Yeah,
amazing managers, and they've all tanked. I mean, you've seen what Nuno's done. He went into Spurs, did awful. He's now at Forest, performing absolute wonders. You got like Conte, Pochettino.
The thing is, you know why Frank's been selected for that, don't you? Because of what he's done at Brentford. Because he doesn't spend any money, and that's Daniel Levy to a key. He doesn't want to spend any money on players. It's massive pressure. Maybe Frank is a great manager, and maybe he'll get the very best out of those players. But I don't see
those expectations, and that pressure is going to be so high. He doesn't have that at Brentford. At Brentford, It was also very much, he had a good relationship with the owner. He was very data-driven, very tactical. Levy's just like, can we get a buy one, get one free? That's the only way I'm going to do this deal. Like, where's the home bargain section? That's what he's looking for.
Mate, he's this is the problem, isn't it? They was talking about this on TalkSport the other morning, where the debate is football a sport or a business now? And I think it's a business that is a sport. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's
on the pitch, it's a sport, right?
Yeah, but
off the pitch,
this is all about money. It's all about commercial. It's all about global status. It is, how do we make the most amount of money, and how do I get rich with spending the least amount of money for teams like Spurs, and even then with the teams that are willing to spend, they just slap you with regulations to stop you from doing it, for knocking out. Like, sometimes I feel like it's losing identity. And you're right, like what you said. Like, I'll keep going. Football is in the veins, mate. I love it. Like, it's why we do this show. It's why we talk about it. Like, it's a thing that billions, half the population watch. Do you know what I mean? That's simple as like it's incredible, the pull of football. And diehard fans will never go away from it. But it just feels like at times, like, you go, what's the point? Because you're trying to build success. You want to see your team be successful. You want to see them win trophies. You want to see them be able to compete, and not even like win the league every year or anything like that. But it should be, in the Premier League, at the top status, that it's probably the only league in the world where you could say there's probably 6 teams that could win the league, right? So that in that retrospect, it's still great. But at the same time, they're picking the big 6. They're picking those 6 teams that they want to compete, and that is driving me nuts.
It's getting more on the pitch. It's getting more competitive, in general. Like, so you now got the likes of Brighton, Brentford, Forest up there this season. We'll see if that's like a one-off or whether they actually kick on a bit next season. You got us, Newcastle now in the mix. So you've actually got this kind of like, there's the big six commercially currently, but then it's more like a top 8 now, like or top 9. They're all kind of like fighting it out. So it's really good in that sense. But it does become a thing where, and also I feel like maybe City, I might be wrong on this, I haven't looked at the figures, but like City, Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea have fought their way back into it by spending big. But those clubs, they haven't spent massive over the last like 3-4 years. Like they've brought in 1 or 2 big players here and there, but it's not like they've sat there and gone, right, we need to sell a big player and buy like 4 or whatever. Whereas Chelsea have obviously bought loads. City are now doing that because they need to revamp their squad. So all that's happening is that we're all starting to compete more. So we've all caught up a bit. And now they're going, well, we'll wake up now. We'll actually do something and buy a few players. Okay, right. And it's all gone. It's all gone to that again. So I wouldn't be surprised if in the next, 3 seasons, those big 4, 5, 6 are once again just kind of dominating. We might have Newcastle in there because they are easily the richest club in the whole country by a mile. I think it's about 20 times. Is it 10 times more than City in terms of like
it's ridiculous.
But yeah, it's just frustrating. It's just frustrating, and even on the pitch now, I'm starting to like get just kind of frustrated with the finicky, pickety, VAR, ref stuff, all these like rules. Is it a handball? Is it not a handball? Is it a natural position? Is it unnatural position? Like, come on, like just play the game. Just play. Like the amount of I'd be interested to see the stats for the season just gone. But I remember like a couple of seasons before, it was like at Villa Park, the average time the ball was actually in play was like 48 minutes. Not even an episode of like, Sopranos. It's like like I might as well just watch
TV
Netflix.
shows, mate.
It's actually ridiculous. Can you imagine you could actually watch a football match, right? So if they just played you the time that the ball's in play, you'd watch it in less than an hour. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it is ridiculous. And it could be worse, mate. It could be American football. That game is only an hour and it takes about 7 hours to play. So
don't say that to Josh. Josh loves American football. It's all the breaks to the ad breaks and the breaks to the studio and the analysing the thing that's just happened. It's like, what the hell's going on?
Mate, I wouldn't be able to comment on that because imagine that, like doing a game, it'd take you like half a day just to kind of like do any kind of analysis. Like I don't know who he gets time. Fair play. I don't think he gets American football. I think it's a great sport, but just in terms of when you like talking about in play possession, like it just like you say with what they've got at the moment, it's broken and doesn't work. Like VAR is a joke. Like we've talked about this before.
Premier League level, by the way.
Premier League level,
But if you supported a Championship club, League One club, like you kind of like, it's still real football.
I miss that a little bit, mate. Mistakes are made, whatever. Right, it's human error. You chalk it off, but that's
the PSR stuff as well. I might be wrong. I mean, I don't follow Championship clubs quite as much. I mean, obviously, I think half the world follows Wrexham and stuff now. It's like it doesn't feel like PSR's an issue there.
No. Well, they have got regulation, like because Leicester have been dodging.
Yeah, but you don't hear it quite as much. No. I don't know whether it's just because they don't have the money to spend, or whether they don't feel like they need to spend it because I suppose they're not in European competition and stuff as well, so they're not.
Well, and also, mate, it's not anywhere near disrupting that big six, is it? It's just like, well, it's not affecting us. It'll only be a problem when it starts to affect us when Championship teams start coming up and dominating the Premier League. Like, obviously, that probably won't happen because the gap is huge. But like, that's the only way people start moaning about it. Like, if it ain't affecting the big boys, I don't care really. Like, so, but it makes like you say, it makes the Championship far more competitive, and I still stand by this. And our time in the Championship was arguably one of the best times of being a Villa fan because of how competitive it was, and because of that was a tough league to get out of. There's no guarantees. You've got to hustle and bustle. There are teams that are just physical and grind out results, and it's not easy to kind of win that division. It's not, and so that is much better. If you look at kind of how it finished, 2 teams on 100 points. Okay, so you had 2 good teams, but then Sheffield United were well in that mix up until the last few weeks of
Yeah,
the season. They dropped points that
it'd be interesting to see how them 3 do next season.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's a case again though. Where I remember when obviously Leicester, Ipswich, and oh God, who was the third one? Was it Southampton?
Southampton, yeah.
Yeah, the 3 of them came up, and then everyone was like, "Oh, Ipswich, I think they'll stay up." And no, they all went back down.
20 points behind. Do you know what I mean?
I do wonder if it's going to be another. That's going to be it now, really, unless there's like some massive influx of cash somehow within a club. But like I said, they can't spend it. So even they got a new owner, they can't spend money.
Do you know what? You can see it happening in the Stars, right? Teams like we'll use Wrexham, for instance, right? Because of now what the Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney
You'll see it all behind the scenes, won't you?
Right, it's all behind the scenes. But what they've done is they very sensibly they've built a global brand. Now that club's got an American following, right? Straight away you've got that attractiveness.
Commercially good.
Commercially,
it makes good money.
It absolutely, mate. It will if they do get into the Premier League. Not only have you got that story of that, promote. I'm not saying they will. It's no easy task, like we just said, but they'll be loved by the Premier League, and players will want to go there, right? And because of the money they've got, right? And it'll be interesting to see how PSR affects that kind of level of thing when you've got a commercial brand that is bringing people are going to watch the Premier League, aren't they? For that, they are the story that it's going to bring people in, and again, let's see how those rules affect them. It doesn't feel like it's a fair playing field at all. And like I say, if you bring something commercially, globally to the Premier League, then they're going to just almost turn a blind eye and go, yeah, just crack on with it, because you bring in the viewing figures, you bring in the tourists, you bring in the money's astronomical, isn't it? People are getting rich from it. So what it does is just fuck over the middleman, just like in real life. So
exactly. And it is, it's just frustrating, really. But anyway, that's enough rants on that. On the potential, I mean, I don't think. Have you heard of anyone coming in?
There's that Redmond striker.
Yeah, Redmond, which I believe is apparently meant to, but he's probably going to be sat in the under-21s. I think. I don't think he's going to be senior squad.
Well, I did hear. Have you heard I mean, this is not coming in. This is total rumor, but Duran has basically looks like he might be going out on loan. He's not happy in Saudi, apparently.
Oh, well done, mate. Well, he's made his money. He's done his thing. He's going to get out. Fine.
Well, he's not even been there 6 months, mate. He's made no money. He's got to stay there a year to make any kind of real money.
That's right, isn't it? Actually, I remember hearing something about that with Jordan Henderson. It's something like if you're not there long enough, you have to come back and you have to pay like the tax like you would have paid or something on it. So you basically lose like half of it. It's something like that. It's something ridiculous.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't
know.
I don't care about John anymore. I don't give a shit.
Obviously, he died to me when he left. But there was a thing. There was a thing on social media yesterday, just kind of saying that he's not happy. His girlfriend's not happy. His performance on the pitch have been poor. The grass isn't always greener on the money side, is it? But he's still young enough.
How many times have we seen it? How many times have we seen it with like City? We've seen it with Saudi. We've seen it with all different like teams and players, and it's just like, just have a little like. I understand you want to back yourself, and you're confident that you can go into that team, and you can do something great, and not in Saudi. No one gives a shit about that. That's definitely money.
Yeah.
But like if you go into like City, and it's like, mate, you're just going to warm the bench. Like you're just going to sit there. You're going to be loaned out, or it's all going to fall apart. Like Jack Grealish, Phil Foden, he's got to leave. You got all these players. There's like a graveyard of stars.
Well, for Duran, it's kind of it's a shame really because there's a talent there, but I think he's fucked it. Would you take him back on loan if he was offered?
I was literally just about to say to you, I was like, would you take him back? No,
I wouldn't, mate.
I think the problem I have with Duran, and I think I always had this problem with Duran, is just the attitude's not there.
Yeah.
Which is
why we got rid of him.
Yeah, our team has to have we want players who want to do. We want players with hunger and want better. We want players who are eager to improve. You will get people who are have egos. That's fine. But he just had a bad attitude in general. I think he was probably quite toxic for the dressing room, and I think now he might be even more so.
Worse. Yeah.
It'd be interesting. I'd see him in like the Bundesliga. I think he'd do quite well there.
Oh, mate. Yeah, he'll do well in any European league. Like he's you know, he's a there's quality in there. That he could have arguably been one of the best strikers that the game's ever seen. But like it's I think he's made a mistake, and I think it could cost him dearly. I think he's going to have to try and rebuild it now. So maybe going somewhere like Bundesliga would do in the world of good, because he would score loads of goals. He would.
Speaking of European leagues, do you see KDB? He's gone to Napoli.
Yes, I saw that announcement yesterday.
Wow, how are they affording that?
Well, I don't know.
I know
mate.
they've won. I know they've won. I mean, actually, it's the mafia, isn't
Yeah.
I've said it again. They're scraping all these YouTube channels.
Side in world football. I wish them all the success in the world with Kevin De Bruyne. I hope they win multiple leagues. Well done, Napoli. You're doing it the right way. Scott McTominay. What a signing that was.
I'll give it to them. They make fantastic pizzas. I'm very, very happy with those Neapolitan pizzas. I don't know, mate. I don't know. I don't know where this podcast's going. We're just kind of chatting random stuff here. Well, as always, guys, what do you think in the comments? Let us know. Like, what do you think? Is this just? Are we just being ridiculous and being impatient? And actually, we just need to sit tight and wait.
Yeah,
and we're just like, because each week at the moment we're trying to work out what the hell do we talk about today.
Well, mate, as I said on the last show, I hate this moment of the transfer window. Like it's technically closed until next week or the week after, and then it reopens. So that one that closed yesterday at 7:00 or Wednesday at 7:00 was for what exactly? Just to get teams over the line for the Club World Cup. So you've had the Trent kind of thing at Real Madrid, Kuna from Man United. I don't know who else has been bought. I don't care about the Club World Cup. I won't be watching it. Yeah, fucking bullshit thing. And we just sit in limbo, like you say, trying to work out what to talk about. And people are going. I've watched a lot of social media over the last couple of days, and people are talking about the kits and all that kind of stuff. I'm just like, oh man, like come on, right? Like just. But I guess that's what people want, and maybe we're just trying to do something a little bit different. I don't know, and kind of just try to get a real feel for.
Maybe we're the only ones who are happy to just come on, do a part of us just ranting about random stuff. I mean, we like I said, next week's a little bit more structured. We've got Monday where we're going to talk about acorns, and we will be talking about the ball, and what you can get excited about and expect from that. And then next Thursday, we've also got Amy AVFC on from TikTok. So we'll be talking to her. Still not sure what the hell we're going to talk about on that episode.
Well, it'll be interesting, mate, because actually the day before Amy comes on the show on Wednesdays, the Premier League fixtures are released. So we can certainly talk about the start of the
that'd
season.
Be nice. I think one thing we might talk about, and it might be a bit early, we could do two versions of this, one early and then one later before the season starts, of what are our, right now, and we're not going to talk about this now. Don't go into this now. About what should our expectations be for next season? Like what, based on what we've just had. Like, obviously, we're not in the Champions League, but like, do we expect that we will win something? Is that like the absolute minimum, or is it finish Champions League? Is it run in the Europa League? Would you be happy with quarterfinals again? Get the Europa League again? What are those? So we'll talk about those next Thursday with Amy.
It's a good.
But that's kind of all I've got on this one, mate. I'm losing track. Those wheels have come off.
At the end of the day, right, the most important thing is, mate, we're getting to chat about something. Right, it's good to see your pretty face. Right, the people of Spotify have listened to the rant on our soothing voices and are probably now asleep after 34 minutes. I'm looking forward to the new season because I like the structure of what we can actually talk about rather than
it'd be nice actually to start this from the start of the season as well, like rather than halfway through. So it'd be quite good. But as always, guys, I mean, I'm probably going to call it there, by the way. But as always, guys, please like, subscribe, let us know down in the comments. Are you as annoyed as us? Are you feeling as kind of downhearted at the moment? Or are you actually quite optimistic and you think it's literally the calm before the storm? Let's see how we get on. But anyway, Gaz, any final thoughts before you go?
No, mate. I'm
No,
just, no, I haven't. I just think it is what it is. I'm trying to gear myself up. Next week's going to be better. That's all it is. We'll take 1 week at a time. Next week will be better. I'll probably feel a bit different about it. So if I've been a bit miserable, I'm sure they'll let me know in the comments about how miserable I am. Right?
I mean, it's pretty standard, mate.
It's football. It just controls your emotions, doesn't it? Like, next week I'll probably be happy, and we can talk about, maybe we'll have some transfer news that we didn't have. Maybe there'll be a little bit more.
I'm going to
info
set that bar low, mate. I think nothing's happening.
Yeah, or I'm going to be even more infuriated, mate, because there's going to be more deals coming on and about other teams, and Man City will spend another £100 million on a player that they just can't. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, who knows?
But keep supporting, keep loving, tune in Monday. Make sure you like and subscribe. And that just leads me to every week we follow the boys in claret and blue.
See you.